Welcome to the 1Trance podcast, hosted by Reboot. Let's go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 1Trance podcast. Our guest has built a career that spans more than 3 decades, evolving from chart success in the early 1990s to becoming one of the most respected vocalists and lyricists in today's uplifting trance scene. She began a professional journey with a major label signing to Polydor Records in 1992. Her debut single, Accelerate, produced by Skin Up, reached the UK Top 40 with the B-side Horny also gaining dance scene traction. A follow-up, Music of the Future, released as Lust on XS Rhythm Records, further boosted her club profile. In the mid-1990s, she collaborated with Ricky Simmons and Steve Jones, the Space Brothers, as part of the group Climax. Their track, I've Got a Feeling, became a notable club anthem, especially in the gay club scene, regularly played at Love Muscle at the Fridge in Brixton. It led the UK Pride Festival performances, including alongside Kylie Minogue and live TV radio promos. She also joined Sunscream for a promotional tour. After a period that included an X Factor edition in 2018, where she performed at Wembley Arena, she returned strongly to dance music. She has written and recorded with producers across Europe, Italy, Holland, Sweden, Germany, and UK, contributing emotive, soulful vocals and lyrics to uplifting trance and progressive tracks. She has released music on labels including Reinstate Records, Reason to Rise, Positive State Records, Rated Records, Redux Recordings, Ablazing Records, and others. Her reputation today is built on emotional, rich lyrics, expressive vocals, and meaningful storytelling than simply providing top lines for producers. Recent notable collaboration releases include tracks Raindrops with Jocks and Elena Christensen, Dare to Dream with Andre Wildenhuis, Winds of Change with G. Summers and Robin McLemoyle, Beyond the Sky also with Andre Wildenhuis, and a new release that just came out this past Friday on 3 July with Frankie Z, I'll Be Here. She remains active with live performances, including at events such as Luminosity. One of her biggest strengths is her songwriting. Rather than only recording vocals, she frequently writes her own lyrics, drawing on personal experiences, hope, resilience, love, loss, and human emotions. Many producers especially seek her out because she brings a complete lyrical vision to a track. She's also involved with Reinstate Records as label lead, Reinstate Trance Records as the label lead alongside Patrick Evans, who founded the label and is the label director. Welcome to the podcast, Stacey Jay. Welcome.
That's good research.
Thank you so much.
Covered.
Thanks so
Yeah,
much.
you
Any
covered
words
a
to begin with?
lot. You actually said something there that I don't really generally tell people about, which was the B side of Accelerate.
Well, I
I
know I
don't know
did
how
do
you
my
saw
research.
that. Horny.
So let's
Yeah.
start with the kickstart.
Yeah.
Let's start with a bang. Is there a vocal performance that means more to you than the fans probably realize? You know, a track, a performance, anything.
Yeah, as far I mean, all of my songs are built, created from most of them are from personal experience. So they all mean the world to me. They all mean a lot to me. One in particular, I can think of two, but one in particular is a song that was produced by Juan Almanano. And he sent it to me, when I was not in a good place at all. And I didn't know he'd sent it earlier on, but I'm in bed and I look at my emails and I've got a new track from him. And I was really low, but it really lifted me because I just felt it. And I wrote it that night, probably within the hour. And
Wow.
it's called
Yeah.
You're Not Alone, which was released this year. And it was a song, the lyrics I wrote to myself. So I was feeling low and it was like a way of healing myself and telling myself you're not alone. We kind of parked it for a while, as with all my tunes. A lot of them can be parked, and then you go back to it I had a good friend who was in a really bad place. And he was saying that how alone he felt, basically. And it's someone that's got a lot of friends, very popular person. And I literally had to sit there and like convince him that he wasn't alone. It was just like in his mind, right? And we do all experience this at times, and we need to be reminded that you're not alone. You've got friends, you've got family, you've got help, you've got support. And after that call, which was difficult, I resang it again. So it's like, You're Not Alone is kind of an interesting one for me because, like I said, it was born for me personally to help me. And then it was sung to help my friend. And there we go. And I think you can feel and hear the emotion in that song. Yeah. And people did hear
I think
that.
I know that song. That's an amazing song. And it's
And
one of
I love
those
it's one of
that,
my favorites.
you're not alone and you're going to be okay.
Yeah, it's like a reminder that even if you feel alone, yeah, because I know so many people struggle with their mental health and feel alone, and at
It's
times
very
need
important.
to hear that. I was pushing that track as much as I could for that reason, actually. It's got a really deep meaning for me. Yeah. Two stories that resonate like a
Wow.
really lot. Yeah. From dark
Yeah.
times, which have turned around on both levels.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Now, was there a point in your career up to this moment where you almost gave up and questioned everything?
When I gave up my kids, it went on the back burner. I don't know, but I mean, in the 90s, I just remember I was striving and just wanting to do it. So I had loads of knocks, tons of, like we all do in this business. And then more recently picking up probably 2020, 2019, 2020. Since then, maybe, but it would be very minimal. I can't give it up. Like professionally, yes, but I can't give music up. Like if you feel and love music and turn to music to help you through your days, I will never give music up. Songwriting, singing, it's all
Absolutely.
therapy and healing for me. I will never give it up. Professionally, it may come a time, but right now, no. I'm on it.
Good. I'm glad. Keep going.
I'm
So
on it.
your career
Yeah.
began during an explosion of dance music in the early 90s. Walk us through the moment you signed with to Climax, which, as I mentioned before, with the Space Brothers for ZTT. What was the dance music scene back then compared to today? And how did that early chart success shape your path to today?
The dance music scene then, we didn't have any cameras.
I know they're everywhere now.
I'm thinking of because I mean, how was the dance music scene back then? It was full on. It was amazing. It was the explosion of house music. It was, for me, the first time I went to a club where everyone was taking whatever they were taking. I could be free and I could be myself and no one was judging me. And suddenly it was like the most amazing thing. I don't know whether you mean from just me going out into the scene or you mean professionally as a vocalist. Sorry. Or
You
just
can talk a little
everything.
bit. Pretty much everything on it. You already mentioned that you went out to the clubs and you felt free, which I think during that time a lot of people experienced.
I loved it.
But what about professionally?
Yeah, so professionally, it was such a different world anyway. But the dance music scene was not. I mean, I feel like I'm in the thick of it now, and there it was kind of. It was.
I mean, it was the beginning, right?
Quite a long time ago. We used to have the charts, the dance charts. It was very different, and the dance music scene with labels as well. It was very minimal. There were minimal labels that would be interested in dance music. Although the stuff I did, the music I did crossed over into more pop dance.
Okay,
yeah. It was a totally different world professionally as a vocalist. totally different world, because then I remember the days of literally posting cassettes to record labels. I remember the days of management companies. Like now I can connect on Instagram. It's like, if I
Yeah,
want to
I
connect
mean,
with somebody, hello. But then you literally, it's very difficult. I think I went into Warner Brothers. I remember meeting a really great guy, having some really good meetings. And I did that myself by
wow.
posting in demos, and then they'd ring you up. You see, off on a tangent, sorry. The world now with like with music is, half the time I don't even talk to my a record label I signed to. It's probably part of the reason I've set up my own, because back then you had to meet with the record label, whoever, right? Executive. And you had
Yeah.
an advance. You were given money. You couldn't you couldn't record at home. It just wasn't a thing. You were given money in advance. It's a whole different ball game. And so you had a rapport with your record label. And now I can sign a track and never speak to the person
It's
from the
all
label.
online. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's very,
Unbelievable.
we'll go on to reinstate trance, my label, because I think I've learned a lot from that and from my experience back in the 90s. And I want to bring that back a bit. I think personal is really good. I think talking to people is really still important. Anyway, I could go on forever. You ask me questions, otherwise I just carry on
So
talking. Yeah.
I mentioned another track from back then, I've Got a Feeling, which became a massive club anthem, especially, as I mentioned, in the gay scene and at pride events.
Yeah.
What was the collaboration like with the Space Brothers, you know, touring, performing alongside, you, like I said, performing alongside Kylie Minogue? I mean, any memorable stories from back then?
Yeah, I was actually, so that was Gay Pride 96. And
Wow. Yeah, that's a
Kylie
long time
Minogue
ago.
was the headline, and we were on the same bill as, but I actually remember meeting the Happy Clappers. Do you remember the Happy Clappers? I believe, isn't it? I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was very excited. I went in their dressing room. I saw Kylie, didn't speak to Kylie. I was on stage at Pride. That was a dream come true for me. I always wanted to say,
Oh, I
can you hit me
imagine.
in the back? And I could do that because it was huge. And I've got a feeling took us to like lots of Pride, lots of tours, lots of UK tours. And I had the time of my life. And I think the gay audience are unreal. And again, I loved it because I could just be myself. There's no judging going on, you know?
Of course. Yeah.
I loved it.
That's
And
great.
I'm not like, I don't love to conform. And so you can be yourself and you're just accepted. You're accepted. And I loved that whole time of my life. Yeah. With that track. Because we actually did, it was played out by Love Muscle at the Fridge for like weekly for a long time. And, I did a PA there one New Year's Eve, and they built like a walkway above the club. That's one of my really big memories. Yeah. And so it was New Year's Eve. I was there and looking down from like a walkway at the top. It was amazing.
Wow.
It was all amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when did you realize that music wasn't just a hobby or something that you're doing and actually became a career?
I can't remember. I was so young. When did I realize it wasn't just a hobby? I've always loved very young. And like when I finished my A levels and needed to get a job, I picked up the Yellow Pages. Remember the Yellow Pages?
I remember those, yes.
And I knew I wanted to work in music, and because I wanted to be a pop star, 100% do music. I just had to do music. And I picked it up and I rang a few recording studios. So I would have been 18. How old are you after? Yeah, 18. And the first one I rang was Red Bus Recording Studios, which is a big, well-known studio in London. I spoke to this guy, Elliot Cohen, and he was like, oh, we're looking for someone on reception. And I was like, that's me, I think, hopefully. And I got that job. And that's how I got into music, by the
Wow.
way. I was 18.
So the first one you called got the job.
Yeah. It may be the first or second. I actually knew it was the first. Yellow Pages. Good old Yellow Pages. And so I worked
Wow.
there for a year and I met, God, Lulu was there. I met people. I got in the studio, did some backing vocals, I remember. And then I got a job at Sony Music in publishing. And at that point, I wasn't a good secretary because the girl that sat opposite me used to say, James is looking for you. He was my boss. I was publishing
Yeah.
A&R and PA A&R person. And where was I? At age, I don't know, 20, dance division. I was in dance division all the time. It was like they'd send out the promos, dance promos, and I would hang out there. And eventually they may have got rid of me, but I don't talk about that because I was never
No worries, no worries.
Yeah,
No
I
worries.
never
But
had
that's a
it
hell
was
of
an
a start,
amazing
though.
experience. Sony Music. And then
Yeah,
I went
that's
on to Rhythm King Music as well. Anyway, yeah.
nice. I mean, but that's a heck of a start. I mean, you set your goal. This is what I want to do, and
Yeah.
you went for it, and you got it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a blessing because not a lot of people get that opportunity right off finishing
No,
school and stuff especially at 18.
But I made it happen. I made that happen. No one has ever pushed me throughout,
Of
like
course.
even my later years now. I've done this all myself. I haven't had anyone pushing. And I think I met Skin Up, who I put my Polyville Records music out, Jason, through Everton Webb, who I think managed Lisa Stansfield. It was on Big Life, I'm sure, if I remember so. He managed me for a while. Yeah, I think he definitely Everton Webb. Yeah. And he introduced me to Jason, who lived near me. And through meeting Jason, I did Accelerate, Horny, as you mentioned, Music of the Future. Yeah. On another label. Yeah.
And it's all about connections, It's sometimes some people could say, "Oh, he's who you know," but it's all about one connection led to another connection, which led to another connection, which led to you actually putting out tracks, So it's all about the connections that we make in life. Your lyrics often carry emotional depth and soulfulness in high energy tracks. What is your process for writing vocals for trance producers? Do you start with the melody, the story, the instrumental? Where does the inspiration to writing for these tracks come from?
There's two questions, I think. So where's the inspiration come from and how do I write it, kind of thing?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
comes first? Okay. Yes, ma'am. So I basically, I can come down most mornings and write something on my piano here, literally. But I get a track, and when I hear a track, I write the melody first. I need to hear a melody, and sometimes I'm lucky the lyric will come, and I close my eyes and I sit inside the track. Not all tracks inspire me, and then if I have to listen to a track 2 or 3 times to find something, I generally may park it because I love the tracks that I hear. Usually I just know straight away, but I hear a melody. And like I just said, sometimes a melody comes with a lyric. But I feel like melody is really important to me, actually. But obviously the story is. So the inspiration for the story comes from personal life. Yeah, mostly. Yeah. Or fantasy. I think. When you think of my songs, Seal Dream, they're very fantasy led. And so it could be like what you would like to happen in your world of fantasy. But a lot of them as well are taken from personal experience. I know.
And those are most of the time the best lyrics to write down from experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I generally like I had a really bad time over like 2 years, like the last 2 years, like not now, but, and thankfully I was able to throw a lot of my upset, my emotion into, as you can hear, my voice has already changed. I can feel it into my music. So there was a point where I called on friends for help and family, and there's only so much people are going to listen to you.
Of
And
course.
so it was one day and I just thought, I just go to the piano now, really. It's my peace. It's amazing for healing just to like get out your emotions. The worst thing for anybody is to keep all that upset inside. Problem shared is problem
100%.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sharing it with someone, but it's just a way of, like they say, writing or keeping a diary. But for me, it's songwriting. And I have hundreds of songs.
I can imagine. I mean, it's good. You have a way out. You have an outlet that no matter
Yes.
what is going on in your life, you can just come down, write it on the piano, write the
Yeah.
lyrics on the book, on the diary.
Yeah.
And people need that. Everybody, I believe, no matter how busy you are, and people are busy in this today's world, always should have an outlet to let any stress, any emotion. Some people work out, some people run, some people play music. They should always have the
Exactly.
time for themselves to.
I feel blessed. I feel grateful. I don't, I think a lot of people in music, especially in the trance scene, they're bringing a lot of personal emotion to their music. And that's why it's so magic.
Absolutely.
Music is to draw emotions from us. Why do we listen to music? Right? And I just,
Yeah, correct.
I've seen tracks I can listen to now, but from the 90s, let's say, and it will take me back to how I felt emotionally at that time. Like you remember, it's like a memory, isn't it? I remember that. I was really happy then, or I was really sad. And I just feel that you listen to music because you want it to affect you emotionally. And if my music can resonate, and sometimes if someone resonates with the lyrics and they've been through a similar thing, well, they can hear it in my voice, the emotion, it will touch them. And if I'm healing through that, then that person can potentially be healing too. That's what I think. So a lot of
Nice.
my music is, I don't know how to express what I'm trying to say. It's such a personal journey
No,
for me. More than just the money,
absolutely.
which it has to be in music industry. If you're going into it just for money, I think there's other ways I could earn money quicker.
Probably. Yeah, you're probably right about that.
Definitely.
Actually, I think you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yes.
Speaking of money, from major label deals in the 90s to the X Factor in 2018 and
Yeah.
indie trance releases today, what has been the biggest challenge in keeping a music career this long, and how do you stay motivated?
How do I say? The X Factor was great fun. And with the X Factor, I've wanted to be on it. It was like one of those bucket list things. But I always wanted to do
Yeah.
I always wanted to do boot camp. I thought it looked so fun, right? Just to randomly turn up and join groups. And I did do the X Factor, and I did it with someone I worked for who worked for me, because I ran music classes for babies and toddlers called Boogie Babies. And we went there as the Boogie Babes. And it was like, we wrote our own songs, and it was funny and it was quirky. And we got to Wembley and we got through, and then we went to the next stage. And I was so excited. And I said, does that mean we're through to boot camp? And they said, no, we're not doing boot camp this year. It's been dropped. It was really annoying. It was the 6-chair challenge. And they literally saw on a sideline. So they took me an hour away somewhere else in London. And they did nothing that day, hardly, a bit of filming. Then they put you in a room, you wait about 6 hours. And then they come in and go, no, you haven't got through, or you have got through. And that was the end of that journey.
Oh,
and
wow.
The girl I did it with was in tears. She was really upset. And I was just like, I'm so happy that I did this, that I've got this far, that I did Wembley. Like I wanted to. So it was like, tick. And that was that experience. But I've gone off the question, which I do a lot. So you asked me a question. What was it?
No, the other one is, how do you stay motivated?
That was it. I have no idea. I think a lot of it ties into the answer to my last question in the way that it's life for me. it's my peace. Music is peace and my happy place. So it's not difficult to stay motivated. So if I do music, even if I write something and it doesn't appear, like it doesn't get any good feedback, I don't know, I've always, throughout this whole journey, since I've come back into music the last so many years, I've always said the same thing. Whether it hits and gets up on that Beatport chart, whether it streams those or not, the process of receiving a beautiful track that I feel, to writing it, to singing it, like every stage I go through is therapy. Like, it's a happy place for me.
No, that's good. I mean, that's good.
Yes,
You
and
use
it's
your
like,
passion. Use your
yeah,
passion and your
it's
love for music as therapy, which is
exactly.
very, very beneficial.
The reason for me is obviously as amazing for me to be out there and to have a great chart position, because then more people want to use my vocals and my songwriting, and it just keeps me doing what I need to do and I love to do. And I don't know when I'd ever stop doing this. Must be honest.
No. I mean, that's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
I mean, never stop. Now,
Yeah.
you'd actually step back. You actually stepped back for a while and then came back, very strong into the trance EDM scene. What inspired that comeback? And I'm sure that the industry, what inspired the comeback and how has the industry changed from back then? Back then, like you mentioned before, you had cassette tapes. Yes, I do remember those. And now we have the web. So what inspired your comeback after you took the break?
My dad. So basically, yeah. So my kid's slightly older now. Well, it was 2019, and my dad is, he'll be pleased to be mentioned, Tony Jay. He is in a ukulele band and a bit of rock and roll himself. And he was performing an open mic night, and I went to watch him, as he's always supported me on all of my gigs. He's always there.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I went along anyway to this open mic night, and they had a piano there. And so I knew that I wanted to, I had keyboards here, etc., but I just knew I wanted to join in. So I went back and started going with him regularly. So it was really special to do this with my dad. And then lockdown came. So I literally went probably for a month, and then we were in lockdown. And during that time, or just before, I went on, I just thought I want to get back into singing. So it was my dad inviting me that night. And I was always doing some singing. I was doing, obviously, at him. I never stopped. But I went online and I thought I want to do a singing job. And I answered an ad that said, looking for top line writers, which I didn't even really realize what it meant at the time. I'm a singer-songwriter, but I hadn't heard that phrase. And someone called MJ, woman, he comes to me. It was Ultrawave Records, and they said they're looking for top line writer for Ultrawave. And the guy that ran it was called Adam, and I think MJ was running with him. And I don't know, they took me on. I sent some dip myself, and I was on it. But I was doing like house, techno, trance for a good year, and I think I was just finding my feet with it again. I had a release maybe during that time. Yeah. And I think that I got the bug, and then I have just like gone wham bam, thank you, ma'am, into it. Like,
sometimes that's the best way to do it, just right. But that is amazing that your dad had such a big inspiration on you to go back, and you're very blessed in that aspect.
I'm very thankful.
You're very thankful.
He's always encouraged me. He's
exactly.
always
Good. I mean, today's world, we need that. Bottom line, we need people to encourage other people, family, friends, anybody. We need that. Now, you worked with producers across Europe on some pretty amazing labels such as Positive State, Experimental X, and others. What excites you the most about the modern trance scene? And who are some of your dream collaborators?
That's easy.
Okay.
Who are some? Well, number one, if I got a player or fact to be, I just absolutely, I've met him twice, both at Luminosity.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And the emotion, not just from his music, but his performance. Like, so I loved his music anyway, but last year when I saw him, I met him at Luminosity because I was with Steve, Space Brothers, who I reconnected with after 20 years, who we hadn't seen each other. So that was really special.
Wow.
Anyway, but I hadn't seen Factor B live, the passion, the emotion, and the story behind it you have to feel. And then this year again, I'm right at the front with my camera, like, because
you're probably some of the clips, the video clips right in the front.
We're reconnecting. Where are you connecting? Can you see that? It says reconnecting. Hello.
You're back. You're back. It's good. Yeah, I'm here. You're back. No worries. So,
yeah, Factor B, the passion, the emotion. I would love to do a track with him. Yeah, I would.
There's an idea. I know you maybe need to. I actually met Factor B at ADE last year in October. He was playing at Panama Club, and it's one of those things that you walk into a place and you hope to meet somebody because the artists are going to be around. And then I walked in, looked to my right, and there was Factor B. I mean, and it was just like, hey, nice to meet you. Yeah, let's take a picture. Very nice guy, very nice to talk to. So
where was that?
Where
was that? He's a very nice guy. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's probably my number one. Yeah.
And what excites you about the trance scene today in today's world?
The trance scene. Trance. Yeah. I love it. It's like a family. I feel like it's like my long lost family. For me, the coming into like this scene, the connections that I have built and made within the trance music industry has been unbelievable. And I feel like Luminosity, they've just come back from. I mean, that really explains a lot. I mean, the passion, the feeling, the beautiful people. Like, I just feel that everyone feels so connected. We feel so connected. And that excites me. You can't really explain in words to anyone the feeling that trance music like gives you unless you are a lover of trance music, I think. Because I try it with my friends.
Well, 100%.
And
100%. I mean, I as you know, I was at Luminosity this year as well. And it's the first time that I went there. And like, you're absolutely right. Like the feeling, like especially when you come across people that you may talk to online or famous people even, and you're like, oh my God, he's there, she's there. I mean, it's just like, and then you spot them and you really don't talk to them, but they look at you and they recognize you and you recognize them, and it's like there's that feeling between people, and then you of course you say hello after that. But it is amazing, an amazing feeling, and to me there's nothing that compares to trance music. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
I do feel it's got the feels, and I'm fed up of trying to explain this to friends. And that was like house. I love my house, don't get me wrong. But when the emotion and feeling behind it is incredible, and to be able to connect with like-minded people, and whether it's a vocalist with success or someone just joining that's there that wants to be there, or a DJ that's that high, everyone's like as one, everyone's very the same level. We all understand each other. And that's what I love about it. Yeah.
Good. Now you do uplifting trance, but also acoustic and chill materials and covers. how do you decide which direction a song takes? And do you have plans for more non-dance projects?
So it's interesting that. So obviously, if I get a track, which is mostly how I write trance, then that's going to be a trance track. I have the instrumental, but I have hundreds of songs that I write. I start and don't finish. How do I decide? Sometimes it's obvious to me whether it will work on a trance, in a being produced trance, in a trance. I've gone a blank. What I'm trying to say is any song can be produced. Any song can be produced as trance, house, any techno. You can take any melody.
Yeah.
So, but for me, when I'm writing, if I'm writing on the piano, it's a lot of the time I'm leaning towards writing something that will work on a being produced in a trance genre.
Okay, yeah.
Basically. But I have some songs that are really, really special. Like all my songs are special to me, but there are some that are very special that I've written and I don't feel would really cut it. Like, because I'm someone that goes a lot to trance events. I like going out. That's where I get my inspiration, loads of my inspiration, right? I come back and I'm wholly inspired. I can hear what people are playing. It's so important. You can hear the you can hear what's out now and what people are playing now. And I'll come back and be totally inspired. But not everything I write would work in a trance genre, but most stuff does. So you asked me another question and I remember it. And I am recording an acoustic album. So I've got Patrick Evans, who's my label partner who runs Reinstate Records. Okay. And he's producing for me an acoustic album, which I've wanted to do forever. And so I've done one studio recording, which was amazing. And I've got more to do. And it will be more like acoustic trance, but it will also have some of those songs that
I'm curious about that. Yeah, I'm curious about that one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it when it needs to be finished. But it's work in progress. Yeah.
Of course. So now, speaking of your singles, your recent singles, so your tracks are reaching new generations of people that love trance music. How does it feel to see your voice, out there in this new trance revival? And what message do you hope that your listeners take from your music?
How does it feel in this new trance revival? It's like, it's cool for me because I was there back in the day. So I just feel like I'm home. I'm just doing what I'm meant to do. It doesn't feel, it's not new for me. It's like, I'm just picking it up again. There was a second question. Sorry. What was the second
and what message do you hope your listeners take from your music?
Well, I went through that earlier with You're Not Alone. I would love listeners to get inside the song and feel the story or the lyrics or the message that I'm giving across.
Okay,
but that's not always going to be the case. I want them to feel emotion. Yeah. I want people to feel emotion because, like I said before, that's what music for me is about. And so
it's all about the emotion.
Yeah.
That is amazing. I mean, I've listened to quite a bit of your tracks, and I can actually say that what I have planned, you don't know this, but what I have planned is, so the podcast is going to be released this Saturday coming up, but the next week, next Friday, I'm doing an artist showcase live mix on TikTok with tracks that include all your vocals. So all the tracks on that live set are going to be tracks that have you as the vocalist. Yeah, I'll do that next. I'll do that next Friday. I'll do that next Friday. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
yes. Thank you.
And I try to do really something like that.
Can I get a concert as well?
I'm sorry?
Can I do a concert then? All my tracks.
So,
actually, what I'd love to do,
you know, I'll get as many as possible as I can find. Yeah.
I would love to do
So
is a
you
story.
mentioned.
Oh, go on.
Go ahead.
No, what I really want to do is a live performance.
No, go ahead.
What I really want to do, there's a few projects. Can I mention that are coming that I'd like to do and that are coming up?
Yeah.
Have you got time? So
Yeah, of course.
basically, well, one of them is a melodic house project with Patrick, and it's called Hand and Glove. So look out for that. It's work in progress.
Good, yeah.
And I think the first track was going to call, it's Treading Water. So it's a lower beat, slower BPM. And I'm liking it a lot. And it's a different kind of feel that kind of goes into this, then trance. And it's called Hand and Glove, and it will be with us soon-ish, soon as I've caught up. I'm always catching up. And the other thing, anyhow, I'd love to do like piano, like spotlight, like, because a lot of my songs that I play acoustically have been written on trance tracks that I've been given. So Hold On to Hope from Andre, like one of mine. Like the Ocean, one of my main ones, they were born from a child track I was given, a music, the instrumental. And they work so beautifully on the piano. And I really want to do like one day, like a show where I'm doing the piano, so it's acoustic trance, and you've got dancers, and I'm telling the whole story, because there is a story to be told. And I'd like a big screen.
Oh, that would be amazing. I would pay to come see that. I would be.
Yeah. And then a DJ.
I would be in the front row.
Well.
I'll be in the front row.
But then with the build, we'll build it with the DJ, and you'll have the beat behind. And I have a vision for it. Life is so busy. I never.
You should work on that vision. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to. I like the dancers, like them, like that kind of really expressive, telling a story dancer and a screen. Anyway.
Yeah.
One day.
No. So
yeah,
that's amazing. You should definitely work on that dream because people would come and watch you. Absolutely. Now, you mentioned a record label. You are the label lead for Reinstate Trance Records. For those that don't know much about how record labels work, briefly, what is your job in the label then, as a label lead?
Social media mostly, pushing it, like bit of A&R. Well, we've got Adam Schofield, who's an amazing producer, and he also he runs the A&R. Patrick Evans built Reinstate Records and is director and has started Reinstate Trance and asked me to head that. What is my job? I kind of just at the moment, it's building the brand and letting people know that we're there. I think for me, getting involved with this project was really interesting because I've been on both sides. So I worked in the industry, as I said previously, but I've been, as an artist, I believe that it's really important to be heard. And for people to understand the music, and people look inside that, like the label to, like, in the past, I might have received like a cover of one of my songs that I poured my heart and soul into, a big story. And because there was with one label, no communication, it's like the story on the cover was totally different, like the story. And that actually upset me because I was like, whoa. And, but anyway, so I think for me, I want artists to be heard. I want it's a big deal for me to sign the artists that have the opportunity to get their music out, and also to actually have a rapport. Actually, Patrick's amazing at enhancing the music if it needs. He was doing it last night for an amazing track that will be coming out on our label. That was like sold.
Nice.
Sold. So I'm A&R, I listen, you know, I'm A&R, I do a lot of the socials. We work really well together, Patrick and I. And he does a lot of the like locking in the releases. I do connections. I've got, you know, I'm very good at connecting with people. So is he, but we work really good as a team. I'm definitely one behind the socials. I love a bit of social media, so it's good for me to do that. But I also really feel that artists I know we put our heart and our soul into our music. We just want it to be heard. And I think that ties in with my social. I just want it out there. And some labels have signed my records and just not pushed, like not done any promo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And
Of
that you know, you spend a lot of time on music, just want it to be heard. So that's a big deal for me. Yeah. For running the label is to make sure that I make a promise that their tracks will be heard as much as I'm capable of doing that. Yeah. There we go.
Of course, that's amazing. Everybody needs that help, you know, especially if they're new coming into the scene.
Yeah.
Has there been, talking about your songs, a couple of questions real quick. Have there been any songs that you had, that your tracks that almost weren't released at all for some reason, but then later on became fan favorites?
There's a song called Till the Birds Rise that's I feel like really popular on my social media. It hasn't been released. So, but no, a lot of my material was released, to be fair, even back in the day. Like, actually, no. The song with the space with Climax, I've Got a Feeling, that never got released, by the way. And that's a massive fan favorite. Yeah. So that actually got sent. I signed a deal with ZCT, which is Sill's label through WEA. And we were talking about it earlier. Like, I literally was working for T-Mobile, and I was called down to reception there, and by a courier came with the contract. Life was so different then. And the courier, I signed the contract. And I remember to this day, 25 years ago, probably thinking, this is it. This is it. It goes back to Warner Brothers. It gets signed. And we do all the promo on it, etc. And Steve and Ricky are still good friends of mine. They're great guys. And obviously at that time, they started Space Brothers and etc. And I was on this other project. So I called in to do some vocals for their backing vocals and stuff on Space Brothers. But my main project was I've Got a Feeling. So it became a big club anthem because it got played out the club so much. But ZCT pulled back on all their new releases, and it didn't get a proper release, actually. And it had press and everything. It was a real, so there we go. And actually, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, I performed at Reunion Night in Camden, at Love Muscle Reunion Night, their first reunion night. And it's amazing. It's amazing. 20 odd years on. Imagine. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was an amazing.
What a feeling.
Amazing. Yeah, it was. It's called I've Got a Feeling as well. And it was a feeling.
So have you ever wrote any lyrics, you know, all these years that were too personal to be released?
Yes. A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. In all these years, I think my most, like the last couple of years have been a big songwriting exhibition for me. And I've definitely poured my heart into a lot of songs, and some, I'm not sure. Yeah, they're a bit personal, so I hold them close to my heart, and I will do for always.
As you should, of course, as you should.
Yeah.
So that's amazing, because like I said, we all have pieces of our life that, you know, as an artist specifically, that you want to do it, and then you're like, no, it's too personal, and some people still do it, some people don't. So it's good that you have that, you know. Now,
I don't mind.
Here's
a lot of mine. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, go ahead, guys. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that all of my songs are like personal to me. It's how much you want to share. We're reconnecting.
Of course, yeah.
It's how much you want to share. And I'm actually comping up as we speak a song called "Tell Me Why." Actually, Juan again.
Okay.
He's lovely, Juan Amana, and that was written about over a year ago, actually. But we've just parked it and come back to it. And I think even listening to that, I was thinking, God, like I want people to feel the emotion, but it also does give a lot away about yourself. And sometimes it's easier for me to communicate with music than speaking, if that makes sense. And
Yeah, of course.
and it's like I don't mind, like that's I mean, yeah. At one stage of my life, I literally communicated through music rather than my voice because my voice was held back. Put it that way. Yeah, but I found my voice
I
again now.
understand. Good. Now, here's the fun part of this whole podcast episode. We call it the rapid fire round. So I'm going to be asking you 6 questions and one answer, one word answer. Okay.
Very
So
difficult
that's why
for me.
it goes pretty quick. All right. Ready? What's the one track from your catalog? What's the one track from your catalog that you're most proud of?
Oh my God, don't. You're not alone. Oh my God.
All right.
You're not alone.
Good. You said you're not alone, right?
Or Sea of Dreams. I just didn't know. Okay, let's
All right.
start again.
No worries. We'll keep going.
Proud of. No. Oh, good.
Right.
That's a
No worries. Okay.
Go on.
I think I already know the answer to this one, but if you could do a duet with any artist, dead or alive, on a trance track, who would that be?
Duet?
Yeah, or collaborate, let's say that.
That's actually got me. That's not my factor B. Is that what you think?
Well, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, so if you want to use him, that's fine. You mentioned it earlier.
Okay, let's just use him. Okay, go. Carry on.
Okay. What's your go-to pre-performance ritual or warm-up?
That's not one my dancer. That's like, that's like vocal techniques, like voice and steaming and trying to rest my voice, which is a bit difficult. Drinking lots of water.
All right. Yes, ma'am. And then I think I know this answer too as well, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Yeah, go.
Favorite trance festival or event that you played at or attended?
Oh, Luminosity has to be the favorite. Yeah.
I
hope to play that. I hope to. Yeah.
I hope to DJ there someday. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Have you ever forgotten the lyrics on the stage when you're performing?
Probably, yeah. I can't remember, but yes, I'm sure I have. You just make them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course. Hey, you just go push through, right?
Yeah.
Morning rider or late night rider?
Late nights.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person, full stop. But late night, always. I love it. 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I can stay up to the bird's eyes and do music. That's one word, isn't it? Go on.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. We got about 5 minutes left or so. Okay. So you already mentioned some of the stuff that you're working on. Any live shows coming up? Any dream festival or venue like that you're playing at?
Any live shows coming up? Just my I can't think. Oh God, nothing to write home about at the moment. No dream.
No worries.
Places, Luminosity. Yes, as we said. I always wanted to sing at Wembley. I did the arena, but something like Luminosity just holds my heart.
Oh,
yeah,
that kind of amazing. It would be amazing.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
Now imagine that's 10 years from now, and we are all together celebrating your career. What do you hope people are saying about Stacey Jay that's not been said before?
How many years did you say? 1 or 2.
So imagine it's 10 years from now, and we're celebrating your career. What do you want people to remember you or say about you?
She brought a lot of feeling and emotion to her music. And it's like probably a great vocalist that can convey a story and can put her heart and soul into telling a story and open up and be open and honest as a person, because the truth is very important to me. Yeah. Speaking your
Absolutely.
truth is key for me.
Awesome. I should always, of course, speak the truth.
People don't always speak their truth. That's the problem.
I know what you mean. Any final words?
Just that, really. Thank you so much for having me on. And again, we've connected through music. So I literally
Absolutely, yeah.
My life has been made complete, since I've been connecting with so much more now than back in the day in the music industry, because everything's online. And what I would say is,
much easier.
We touched on it briefly, like the difference between the music back in the 90s, the industry, and the industry now is I wouldn't have a music career now if it wasn't for
I get it, yeah.
online. Every connection that I have made, I think, and every connection I make now and will make, pretty much online. It's pretty much online. So we may diss it, and I know social media is not good as well. We know that. But let me tell you, it's also amazing. And it's brought so many people together. It's brought like a whole trance. It's like hashtag trance family, honestly. And I love it.
Exactly.
In the last couple of
Actually,
years,
this is an amazing segue. This is an amazing segue to the next thing that I'm going to mention. So
I want to say thank you to everybody any producer I worked with, because honestly, for me, getting a track and being able to sit with that track and write and pour my heart out is therapy, is healing, is enjoyment, is peace, is happiness. So I want to thank everyone that listens to my music, because by downloading it, it's enabling me to continue. So that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody go. So thank you so much, Stacey Jay, for being on the podcast.
Thanks
It's been an amazing conversation. It's been a pleasure. Everybody, and then Stacey can mention this really quick. Follow Stacey Jay on the socials. I believe the name across all the socials is Stacey Jay. You can search for that. Am I correct?
Stacey Jay Music. You were cutting out a little bit. Stacey Jay Music. And I've got a website actually that's be out soon, but Stacey Jay Music on my Instagram, on my YouTube, on my Facebook. Yeah. TikTok.
Awesome.
Love a bit of
Again,
TikTok.
thank you so much.
Thank you so
everybody,
much.
This has been you're very welcome. It's been an amazing episode. And if you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share it with your fellow trance music lovers. Until next time, guys, this is 1Trance podcast, where trance meets you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. This is the 1Trance podcast, hosted by Reboot, where trance meets you.